Jenoa.
I'm Mo, and today
we're having the sex
talk. Today I wanted to talk about something that you had brought up, and that is reclaiming your sexuality after sexual abuse.
Right. Which, you know, if you've been sexually abused, it can be something to work through. You know, feeling like you have your sexuality back. It's yours. It's free flowing. It's, you know, it's a precious and beautiful thing. And if someone has traumatized you in some way, it might take some work to get it all back.
Yeah. So what I want to talk about is the fallacy that we have around sexual abuse. And sexual abuse is a trauma. And traumas affect us in different ways, but specifically traumas will affect us. They make us hypervigilant, they make us paranoid, they make us distrustful of the world around us. And just because someone was sexually abused does not mean that that sexual trauma is going to affect their sexuality. It might affect their whole being, in the sense that they can't even trust, you know, the person at the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's basically, we don't want to assume that sexual abuse is going to lead to some sort of sexual malfunction, a sexual dysfunction. Right.
So you're not necessarily malfunctional or dysfunctional,
right,
because you have abuse in your background.
Right. But it is important to recognize that when we experience trauma, it does show up in our life, and it takes time to work through that. And it doesn't matter if it's sexual abuse, if it's rape, if it's physical abuse, if it's emotional abuse, financial abuse, any kind of abuse where somebody basically breaks your trust and hurts you emotionally is going to leave some sort of a scar.
So what can someone do if they do feel like sexual abuse has affected them? How can they gain back their sexuality and the preciousness and freedom of that?
Well, first of all, I think a lot of times victims blame themselves. And you want to start there. It's not your fault someone victimized you. And then take steps to protect yourself from now on. Recognize that your distrust comes from there, and give yourself a break. Also, think about the stories that the trauma has created for you. I think that this is where we see the most long-term effects. Is trauma forces us to create stories about ourselves that are negative.
Can you give me an example of that?
Yeah, I mean, if you were raped, for example, you might believe that you're not worthwhile. You're not a worthwhile human being with value. So this is a story that you carry with you because of this one incident that really affected you. So it's really important to look at those types of stories that become sort of the big picture, our life story, because of one incident. And that starts with recognizing that that incident was not your fault.
Right. And the subsequent beliefs that you have come to after that story are also not real. They're just a story. And even just calling it a story helps you recognize that it's not fact.
Yeah.
It's something, I would call it a lie that we are subscribing to.
Yeah.
Like, quit that subscription, recognize it as a story, and be mindful when you feel it pop up.
Yeah. And if you have experienced any kind of trauma, and I mean any kind of trauma, I don't mean just sexual abuse, or emotional abuse, or any sort of abuse. I mean like a breakup, getting dumped, having your best friend sleep with someone that you were into. You know, any type of betrayal can be so traumatic to us, and we start creating that story. That we can't trust anyone, and
then we walk around these like low self-esteem people with all these stories about our own inadequacy because someone liked somebody else better, and it starts to really load up. We're just like walking around with all these stories about how horrible we are, or lame we are.
So I was gonna say, find a support group. You know, rape for people that have experienced rape or sexual abuse. You know, groups are great because then you realize that a lot of people have been traumatized in so many different ways. Yeah.
Right.
Go to therapy. Surround yourself with people that you feel comfortable with and trust. And I like to start talking about your trauma. You know, if you don't talk about it, it could be because you're ashamed about it, and the key is to not feel ashamed about your trauma.
Right.
Not feel ashamed about what has happened to you, because the reason you feel ashamed is because you're blaming yourself.
It's important though, I feel like sometimes when you've been holding it in, you start to let it out, but I would say don't start to identify yourself in a victim role. Like it can start to become almost like a pattern where you see yourself as a victim all the time. Like, oh, well, I was victimized, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. It's important not to stay in that place. Like, recognize the places that you were victimized and then get out of it. And you can call yourself a survivor, or something like that, but get out of the victim role. Once you've gotten recognition, like, yes, you were a victim, it's important to get that recognition.
Survived.
Yeah, but then keep moving out of it. Don't stay in that place, because I know a couple people that kind of just never got over the victimhood. Because if you want to thrive, you're not a victim anymore. You know what I mean? That was real and it's over. And now it's up to you to thrive and succeed and find your strength. So that's my thought on it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I agree. It's about empowering yourself after the fact.
Don't let it be your identity. Don't stay in that victim place. Move out of it. Find your strength. Find your agency. And
talk about it. Get educated about it. Try to move away from the shame.
And then live your life and thrive.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, that is the best revenge as far as I'm concerned. Thrive. Live a big, beautiful, bold life. Because you deserve it, and that's what you're here for. No matter what happens to you, that is possible. You will do it. Just go through these couple steps, and at the other side is this incredible strength that you have from this experience too. No joke. These kind of really hard personal experiences can make you a bigger, bolder, more badass person on the planet. More whole, more complete. And that's what we were here for at the Sex Talk.
Yeah.
We want to help you do that.
Yeah. Start talking about it.
Yeah.
And
band together.
Yeah.